to the corner, and there goes Colette crashing to the canvas.
Have you ever heard of New Caledonia, fellas? New Caledonia. It's an island in the Pacific. I know a lot of us have never heard of this before. They speak French. Why do they speak French? Obviously, like the same thing with Africa, because French people went and colonized. Now, in New Caledonia, there have been riots, protests for the past couple of days, and the French government has decided to stop TikTok from working in New Caledonia. So TikTok is not working in New Caledonia. It's crazy. This is an island in the middle of nowhere with indigenous people that look very similar to you, but it is run by the French in 2024. Why are they riot? These riots erupted in response to a new French law that allows more French citizens living in New Caledonia to vote in local elections. All right, let me give you context. The indigenous people of New Caledonia are called Kanaks, and Kanaks make the majority of the people in New Caledonia, about 49%, and maybe more at the moment. And the rest of the people, including Europeans, are the minority. Now, France has voted a law into position where it will allow white people from Europe that come to New Caledonia to visit or to stay for a while. You call them expats, to have the right to vote in local elections. What does that mean? That means when you have more Europeans coming to New Caledonia and voting in elections in New Caledonia, that gives them more power. That dilutes the power of indigenous people. You see where we're going? So indigenous Kanaks, who made up majority of the population, feel this will dilute their voting power and hinder their push for independence. Fellas, in 2024, there are still people in the world looking for independence. Did you hear that? There are still people in the world looking for independence. And if somebody's looking for independence, what does that mean? It means they're not free. It means they are slaves. So the law that's been signed and has been resisted by local Kanaks allows French citizens who lived in New Caledonia for at least 10 years to vote in provincial elections. So you're talking about people that come to visit, tourists, to be able to vote. You're also talking about French people that's been in the island and returned in France to be able to vote in somebody else's country. So what are the impacts? Pro-independence groups see the law as an attempt by France to maintain control over the territory. This has fueled protest and riot. New Caledonia is an archipelago in the Pacific Ocean and became a French territory. And how did it become a French territory? During colonization. In 1853, France officially claimed most of New Caledonia, likely for its potential as a penal colony. Did they have resistance? Of course. The indigenous Kanak population did resist French occupation, with uprisings happening throughout the late 19th century and early 20th century. So what is the current status of New Caledonia? New Caledonia remains a French territory with complex political situation. There have been movement for independence and ongoing discussion about the island. So fellas, again, once more. New Caledonia here, an island in the Pacific, with beautiful people, indigenous people looking very similar to you. They speak French. Why do they speak French? Because of colonization. Some people left their country or their continent, came all the way to the Pacific to claim land, saying it's their land. It's France now. Now, how do they speak French? Obviously, throughout being beaten up and finished and unalived and yeah, you know the process. Same thing that has happened in Africa. And they call you barbarous. And they sometimes call you savages. So what has occurred is these people are looking to be freed, but they cannot be freed because Emmanuel Macron has just signed a law saying that every white man from France who's traveled to New Caledonia can now vote as a citizen for the local election. Every white person from France who's been there and returned to France can also vote. And when you do that, you render the autochthones, the indigenous people's power nullified. And they're not happy about that. And what has Macron done? He has sent more French European policemen to New Caledonia. So, my question is this. Are we free in this world? Can we say we live in a free world, independence world? I mean, you hear all these people saying things we are free. Every country should choose for themselves. Can we actually choose for ourselves? Now they have blocked TikTok. Why have they blocked TikTok? They have blocked TikTok because they believe that rioters and resistance companies are using TikTok as a way of communication. Is it legal to block internet because of political reason? Well, in Europe, it is legal. They have laws that say you can actually block internet, but in one condition. If there are riots, you understand what riot is? Riot. Riot is when people break things. Now, the issue we have here is when an African nation does the same, block TikTok or anything else, you hear the European Union speak very loud about how harsh the government is, how heartless they're treating the people. But have you heard any noise about the people of New Caledonia? Nobody has spoken. Has anybody claimed freedom? Has anybody questioned Emmanuel Macron for cutting off TikTok in New Caledonia? Nobody has done it. Has anybody heard the European Parliament talk about New Caledonia? Nobody has done it. Why? Because in some ways, they understand each other in their practices. When you go and subdue lesser humans, it doesn't really matter. It's not worth being spoken about. For instance, Yoweri Museveni cut the internet for a while. It was called names. His government stopped Facebook from working because they believe it was creating mayhem. They received massive backlash. They cut off funding to the country. They disabled the country from achieving certain things because they believe it was not right for the president to shut everybody up. In India, lately, when the farmers were not happy, the government of India decided to shut down the internet because of the same reason, to try to bring back peace. The European Union Parliament stood against it. They condemned India and tried to prevent India from doing some commerce and businesses. Where are the European Union Parliament when it comes to Emmanuel Macron? Sending troops and military to New Caledonia. All these people are white, coming to other people's country in an island. And my question is this: how did a country in an island become France? Let's just be rational. How did that become France, or part of France, or being run by France? Why? Are they incapable of taking care of themselves? Do they have the right to ask for independence? It's crazy, fellas. Now, France is accusing Russia of instigating the uproar in New Caledonia. Crazy, isn't it? So the reason why the local Kanyak do not want the law that allows white people to come and vote in their country is because Russia has told them to do so. Crazy, isn't it? Sounds like a reach. Sounds like you're trying to find all sort of reasons just to accuse Russia of everything. Let me know how you feel about this. Does France have the right to have land in a foreign land? I mean, this is other people's country. How do you leave your place and go, in 2024, people are still fighting for independence? Does that even make sense?